Today, we're going to talk about RFPs with Chris Arlen, the president of Revenue IQ. And Chris is an expert when it comes to changing a normal pitch to a narrative that works. Hi, Chris. Welcome to the program.
Howdy, Jeff.
Good to have you on to talk about an important topic. I don't know, maybe not everyone thinks RFPs are a hot topic, but I think they lead to a lot of good things. Let's start with an easy question for you. What is an RFP?
Well, it's a request for proposal, and there's other ways of request for quotes. Sometimes they're just shortened to say RFX, and the X stands for quote proposal.
Okay, so that's pretty simple stuff, but there's a lot more to it. I know you have a sheet here. I've got it called Persuasive Proposal Quick Sheet. Mm-hmm. I believe we're going to make this available to those watching this broadcast, so they can look down at for the link below in the video description. But you have on here 12 items. You know, when I think of an RFP, I think a company wants to hire you. You look at that, you write in your price, send it back, pray. Set us straight here, Chris. What are your favorite items in a good RFP?
Sure. And just to be clear, there's two types. There's a technical proposal, which is a request for proposal, RFP, and you got to answer the customer's questions in their order and number them, so forth. There's a standard proposal, generally the smaller contracts, and that's just when they ask you, give me a proposal. And so you hand them your document, you get to choose the order and the content. The first thing I would point out was, we're in the contracting business, building service contractors, so we know what the destination is first. Customers only award contracts when they have a proposal. So you really better get that right off the bat, okay? So that's kind of like the first thing to pay attention to is we know it's going to end up with a proposal before we get the work. The biggest failure we want to avoid is that many proposals are written as if they're marketing brochures and they're speaking to an anonymous audience, okay? Sales proposals aren't. They go to one customer at one time, and they're supposed to deal with that specific customer's needs and wants. So you can tell right away if the proposal is doing marketing speak, and it's really not a proposal, it's more a brochure, and that's not what's going to win you the contract. You know, if you can avoid that big failure of making a proposal a marketing brochure, we don't want that. So the first thing we want to do is we want to persuade the customers to take action, to select us, right? We don't want to just inform them with data. It's a data dump, because then we'll have customers who know a lot, but they don't choose you. So what was the point, right? So we really want to persuade and not just inform. And that's true with request for proposals as well, the technical proposals, because oftentimes we seek to be compliant, answer all their questions. But if we don't persuade them to select us, again, what was the point? The other aspect is, well, what is persuasion in a proposal? So I've got three really simple kind of quotes that help understand that. The first one is from Cicero, a Roman senator from, way back, and he had to get up on the floor and persuade people. And his quote about persuasion was, "If you want to persuade me, you must first think my thoughts, feel my feelings, and use my words." Okay, good advice. St. Francis of Assisi has a prayer attributed to him. And in it, one of the things he says is he would rather seek to understand than be understood. Okay? And then lastly, the best way, and I think this is something, if you can remember this and carry this in your mind, Stephen Covey, the author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, wrote, "Seek first to understand, then be understood." Okay, seek first to understand, then be understood. So that's what persuasion is. And in a proposal, we must first play back to the customer that we understand their problems and their situations first before we are going to propose our solution, right? They want to know that we understand them first before our solution makes any sense. And one of the self-tests you can do to find out if your proposals are persuasive or just informational, go back and read your old proposals. And if you can't tell what the customer's problems or situations they're trying to fix or improve, if you can't tell that by reading your content, then you have an informational proposal and it's not persuasive, and it's less likely to win you the contract.
So give us some nuts and bolts about a proposal that works. Should they be short, long? Does it matter? Are we talking?
Yeah, one of those existential questions about proposals. In my experience, we always tie it down to the size of the dollar contract. So again, if it's the smaller standard organic proposal where you don't have to answer a customer's RFP questions, then look at the annual dollar size. It could be a project, a one-time project, or it could be an annual contract. But if it's a small $5,000 a year contract, very few pages, 5-6 pages, something like that. Again, as the dollar size gets up, again, your customers are evaluating your proposal and they're making the decisions. So the bigger the dollar volume, they're going to want to see more information so that they can, feel good about the choice they make. So it really depends on how much the size of the dollar contract is to the number of pages.
Good stuff, Chris. Thank you. I know you presented on this topic at ISSA show a few years ago. Anything you've learned over the years that kind of opened your eyes to better RFPs?
Yeah, it's the ability to tell an emotionally engaging story, a narrative. As the dollar sizes go up, as customers get more concerned about making a bad decision, they're asking for more information. So they have reams and volumes of information that they're asking for. And so if you, just as a proposal writer, dump all that in, but don't give them a roadmap to understand the context it's in, right? So you got to create this story around it, because people relate to stories, they understand stories, they can carry the idea of the thought of a story through many different sections of content. And so that's the real driver, I think, is that it's no longer the ability to give tons of information. The real challenge is to understand the story, the narrative behind it, and to really put that in strategic places so that the customer can easily digest that, almost like a brand, right?
Love the information. So Chris, this persuasive proposal quick sheet, great information. We'll put the link down below where people can get a copy of this. I tell you what, looks like some really good stuff here. And if you get hired, even better.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.